Hey guys, so looks like I'm up for my first little revision here on this project. Nothing too serious, but I gotta make it happen. So yesterday, you see this tube right here? Well, I call it my reference tube. It's a temporary piece. It used to be a lot longer. It used to just be kind of hanging out here. And so yesterday, I'm walking there and I'm walking like this. I'm trying to get between the car and the tube. Oh, and then I hooked on and then I threw it all out of whack. Oh, great. So, I really need that thing. So I had to get all lined up. First I cut it shorter and then I got all lined up. But originally I used this as a measuring stick between the frame and the reference tube, and then I'd go back and forth till I had it just the way I wanted it. And then anyway, so I've done that again. But so if you look at the A-arms here, you look past the top one then down onto the bottom one, you can see I've got some cross bracing here, and I got a bridge right in there. Same thing on that end. A couple of bridges and the X bracing stops right there. Well, I got to pull all that stuff out of there. Fortunately, I've just got it tack welded in there. See, there's just spots everywhere. So no big deal, I can pull it all out of there. But still, I got some time and effort into making it. Got to revise it. And it has to do with the way I want to make my shock mount. So I'll show you what me and my friend Makita were making. That's this thing here. So we're busy notching and cutting here. So I'll show you where this one goes. This is the rear brace here on this A-arm. Right in there. In there. It's windy outside. Weather strippings flapping out there. What do you guys think? Go with that? Weld it in, or just leave it loose? Oh, how's the level? Okay, so we have arrived at my tube bending department. And here's one that I bent too far. It still has the shoe on it. So here's a sample of what I want. So, well, we got to go to the tube unbending department now. And there is a better way to get the shoe off than the other time that I showed you. That makes more sense. Strange winter we got. Hardly any snow. January, it's melting right now. I'll show you how much snow we had right about that area there last year. But anyways, so I put that piece of tubing in the vise there, and I've got a pry bar here, nice long one, and I just tweak it a little bit at a time, and then I check it again with my other one as a reference until it doesn't really take much. Okay, I think I got it. That looks a lot better. How does that go again? Measure twice, then cut too short. Is that how it works? So this piece doesn't look like much, but I actually got quite a bit of time into it to try and get all the angles just right, So I finally got it. I'll show you in a little while where that goes. So now I'm going to make a couple more while I've got that as a sample. So I'm going to move this piece over to here, and then once I get that all lined up, Then I'll mark my angles on the tubing here on both ends. Make sure I got it all lined up. And then I can make some, duplicates. So, man, that was a bit of a job getting that piece done. Okay, so I got both of the bottom A-arms here. And actually, for the most part, they're finished. So, you remember that piece there that I had trouble with getting all the angles right and stuff? And I was going to show you later where it was. Well, it's the bottom one right there. See, that's that right there. So it actually bridges the main portion of it from the bottom. So there's the shock mount on top, and the original piece goes all the way along here. See that? And then a shock mount, and there's like a triangle bridge right in here. It actually kind of doubles also as a drive shaft loop. So I'll give you more of a look at these guys. And you can see some X bracing there on the top. There's also some X bracing on the bottom here too. If you look right in underneath there. Right there. So I'll flip one of these over for you guys, and then you can have another look at them. But first I'm going to sit here and eat some Ritz crackers. And if you hear like crickets chirping and stuff, well, just keep in mind there's really nothing going on in this part of the video. Okay, so I flipped this one upside down. And yeah, so you can see the X bracing there in the front. Actually 2 times. Right there too. So shock mount down on the bottom there. So I think I got some strength in it. But now I'm going to show you guys what these things look like on the machine. And I got a few more things I want to show you. So here's a look at the two together. So yeah, that bottom A-arm, it's got to be really strong, especially when it starts to get long like this. Okay, so remember a couple of videos back there, I was setting up whatever the brackets and stuff, and I was like with the little paper there, I'm like all fanatic almost. So what I was concerned about was keeping the camber on the wheel as it goes through a suspension cycle. Like as the wheel goes up, I don't want it to do this, or do that. I'm trying to keep the wheel straight. Like it's gonna maybe arc, but I don't want the camber to change. Camber is this here. So I'm gonna pull it up now, about as high as it would go in its suspension cycle, and keep an eye on the rim here and watch to see if it's doing this or this. So that's about how high it would go. So the shock would end up being approximately here. There's a bit of a method for figuring out exactly where that mount goes, but I'm not nearly up to there yet. So there'd be a bridge that comes across like this, and then till here, and then also back till there, and also down till here, and then also X bracing down in there. So okay, so now we'll go the other way. I'll put the suspension all the way up as though it's bottomed out, and I'll show you what that looks like. This is the same kind of shock, same length, but I just got the pressure released out of it and it's collapsed. So when it's all, then it would be something like that. So this would be approximate ride height with suspension compressed maybe 10 inches or so. And I get asked quite a bit, because this machine is wider than the door is on my shop, I get asked quite a bit, well, how in the world are you going to get it out of the shop when you're done? Well, that's a good question, and I'm going to tell you guys. So what I want to do is build a cart for this machine to sit on, actually. And these shocks, see, they don't have any springs. They just have nitrogen pressure. That's what holds the whole machine up. So it's easy to raise and lower the machine. So what I would do is roll the cart underneath the machine and let the pressure out of the nitrogen shocks to set the machine down on the cart. And the next thing I would do is pull the axle off, or at least half of it. Remember how these Our quick couplers, they just it just slides right off. And this drive shaft is going to be a two-piece design. So part of it is back here. So I would uncouple it here and then slide, you know, the majority of the drive shaft out of there. And then next thing I'll do is take the bottom shock bolt off and just kind of let it hang here. And then what I would do is I just fold this thing up. So now the machine is actually well under 8 feet wide. And check out the camber on that rim. It really hasn't changed at all, even with this extreme angle. So if I had this thing sitting on a cart, it would be a lot lower than it is now. It's like 3 feet off the ground or whatever. And transporting it down the highway would be the same idea. All the arms, fold them all up and secure them nice. I would have something better than just a motorcycle tie down. This is just to show you guys, you know, what's going on here. So yeah, just fold them up like a transformer and give her. So I'm on my YouTube page here, and yeah, apparently I started on YouTube 42 years ago. See? Isn't that like in the war years or something? Is that like Vietnam? And now, boys and girls, it's time for Grow to 1's riding tip of the week. Too much turning on here results in a big gap over here. Oh boy.